is about being lukewarm, because it was something that I struggled with quite a bit growing up in the church and even just coming to this youth group. You see, I had commonly heard the verse in Revelations 3:15, verses 15 and 16. I know all the things you do, that you are neither hot nor cold. I wish that you were one or the other. But since you are like lukewarm water, neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth. You see, I'd grown up, I knew that verse. I thought I knew what lukewarm was, you know? I mean, for those of us who have gone to church our whole lives, we had heard about it. You know, and for those of you who haven't, you know it more commonly as a hypocritical Christian. Now, the Greek word for lukewarm in the Bible is kleros.
Okay, Sarah.
Greek. Which is the condition of the soul fluctuating between sluggishness and a fever of love. You see, it's much like many of you in this room, and I was no exception. You see, we coming here on Wednesdays and even Sundays and worship great. I mean, our arms are lifted high and we're singing, I'll stand, arms high, heart abandoned. You know, and the sermon is great and empowering, and we leave with tears running down our faces and a renewed spirit in Christ. That's the fever of love that's used in that word. That's the hot and the lukewarm. But then the cold comes when you step out of these doors. You see, you face your friends at school the next day and act like last night never happened. It was a different world. You see, I mean, sure, your friends know that you're a Christian, you go to church, everything, but you don't act much different than they do. I mean, not cussing or partying shouldn't be the only thing that differentiates you from your non-safe friends.
Yeah.
You know, I found a quote by Francis Chan that I really, really love, and it's, "The God of the universe, the creator of nitrogen and pine needles, galaxies and E minor, loves us with a radical, unconditional, and self-sacrificing love. And what is our typical response? We go to church and sing songs and try not to cuss." Now, this love should set us on fire. Instead, we find ourselves stuck in spiritual ruts and lows and depressions. We come to a point where we're basically stuck between the world and Christ. Now, we're living one way in this building and another outside of it, and being lukewarm is a lot like having a cold. You see, because it's easy to catch it if everyone around you has it. And lukewarm spreads when we pour into each other without truly being hot ourselves. Now, lukewarm thinking is that you'll have tomorrow to tell your friend in third period about Christ's redeeming love. That thinking can tell you it's okay to sin a little or to not hold your standards high. The thinking tells you that you can still be friends with the people you've always been friends with because you can influence them now. Right? But being radically consumed with God tells you a lot like it does in James 4:14. Why you do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. You see, you don't know what will come to tomorrow, so take full advantage of where you are today. Yeah. You see, share that love that has set you free so others may be set free themselves or live with the guilt that you could have changed their eternity. You see, it tells you that, this love tells you that sacrifice is needed, and that's found when God sacrificed his own son. And we talk about it all the time, and sometimes it seems so belittled in our minds that, yeah, he sent his son, cool. You know, but he gave up the thing that was most precious to him. It was his only begotten son. You see, but what he received in turn for that was his son and his creation. Now, he got us back. And so many times we look at how hard it is to give up this friend or this thing in our life because it's everything. Yeah. But God won't take away anything from you that he can't replace with something else.
Yeah.
You see, a few months ago, I gave up my best friend since 7th grade. And it was hard because with me, I truly have one or two best friends that I tell everything. And she was that for me. But I had to give it up. Because she wasn't walking with Christ like I was. She wasn't headed down the same road. I mean, I would ask her to come to church and she wouldn't even give me the chance. And it was hard. But see, if I hadn't given up that friendship, I wouldn't have a lot of the ones I have now. I wouldn't have time for the friends that I have now. The people that I get to pour into now, I wouldn't have that if I didn't give it up. You see, in our minds, being lukewarm is someone who goes out and parties and then comes to Sunday morning services, but it's not just that. It's also the people who refuse to give certain areas of their lives to Christ. You see, the last time I spoke, I told you about a night where I laid down and gave Christ everything. And I wouldn't trade that night for anything, and I would never do anything different because it led me to where I am now. But the thing is that a month after I surrendered my life to Christ, I picked back up dating. You see, I dated a few guys, talked to some, basically flirted with any guy who would flirt with me. I found myself in a relationship I had labeled as Christian simply because we both believed in Christ. And I ended up in a place I never thought I would end up, and I had to ask myself why. You see, why had I let my life turn into that or not seen it coming? When the truth is that I just hadn't been listening. You see, God wanted me to give up relationships and boys to find my one true love first before I found another. You see, it was time for me to start taking my medicine. The common cold is not curable. You cannot go to a doctor and get a shot for the cold and be healed the next day. The only way to get rid of a cold is to take medicine, is to take care of your body. And the decision to take your medicine starts tonight. And it doesn't end when you walk out those doors. It's an invitation to have moments like you do in here, at your home, in your car, in your prayer time. It's a plea to listen to God's voice every day and let Him be the guide. Let Him be the doctor tonight and prescribe to you His word, which is full of the promises He has for your life, or worship time so you can experience His presence every day, or more prayer to find the true love your heart has been seeking in others. So the question is, are you ready to start taking your medicine?